So today we're going to chat about what type of leader are you? And this is really, really important. And the reason it's really important is because depending on the type of leader that you are is going to depend on the type of team that you have. Your leadership is what is going to give you, or what has in the past given you, the results that you were currently getting. So I want you to think about what I've said, okay? Your leadership has determined the results that you got. So if you looked at your business and said, my retail is really bad, you need to look at your leadership. If you looked at your business and you said, good golly, Miss Molly, my staff are so demotivated, you need to look at your leadership. If you've said, goodness me, this salon is not as clean as it should be and it's really not up to standard, you need to turn around, look back at your leadership. This is really difficult to do because as leaders, we give the instruction and we give the guidance, and we really expect the team to carry out the rest of it, to follow through on what we've said. Now, if you don't have that type of team, that type of personality that does that type of thing, then it's your leadership that determines whether they carry it out or not, and what type of guidance that you give them. Okay, so let's have a look at a video clip first. Okay, and the reason I'm showing you this video clip is as I take you through the information, naturally what is going to happen is that excuses are going to pop up into your head, because that is how we are wired as human beings. So I just want you to watch this video clip so that I can set the tone and try and get your mindset right for before we get going. Okay.
What's stopping you? Are you too tired? Didn't get enough sleep? Don't have enough energy? Don't have enough time? Is that what's stopping you right now? Don't have enough money? Is that the thing? Or is the thing that's stopping you, you?
Excuses sound best to the person that's making them up. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Get off the pity potty. Telling everybody your sad and sob stories, trying to get people to show up to your pity parties and your pity parades. If you ever see me in a Rolls Royce, a 6 or 7 star hotel, living my life to the fullest, don't get jealous of me, because I worked my ass off to get it. Nobody handed me nothing. Wake your ass up. Awaken the beast inside. It's game on. It's go season. It's time for you to take advantage of the access and the resources that you have in your country and your community. You got a problem with your life. You got a problem with your environment. Do something about it. If you want it, go get it.
Recognize the excuses are not valid. They're conjured up, they're fabricated, they're lies. And how do you stop the lies? You stop the lies with the truth. And the truth is, you have time. You have the skill, you have the knowledge and the support and the willpower and the discipline to get it done.
The fruit of everything good in life begins with a challenge. Everything is good that's good. And it's not going to come to you, and it's not going to fall in your lap, and it's not going to be something that, oh my God, it just was so simple. It's always going to be difficult. If you want it, you gotta go get it. This is your chance. This is your shot. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your place. This is your opportunity.
This is my time. This is my moment. Tomorrow. Ain't no such thing as tomorrow. We only got today. It's your dream. If you want it to happen, we show one up and make it happen. If you want it to happen, rise and grind.
How powerful is that as a video clip? Okay. So the message to you that I have is that no excuses. Okay. So let's all agree to that while we go through this presentation today. Okay. So number one rule is that you first need to look objectively at yourself. Okay? And this is quite difficult because we are so busy all the time. But in order to have a successful business, whether you have staff or not, even if this is yourself, okay? Even if you're running your own little thing and it's you, yourself, and you, in order to fully reach your potential, the first person you need to look at objectively is yourself. So I have a few questions there for you. And have a look. When last did you do a self-assessment questionnaire? Number two is, when last did you physically write down, pen to paper, your management style? The third question is, have you written down your job description? Have you put pen to paper and written down what you think your job description is? And fourth is, what attributes do you think a great manager or leader has? Have you put that pen to paper? Have you sat down and said, right, I think a great leader and manager has the following attributes or the following qualities? Okay, so this is absolutely vitally important. Rule number one is self-analysis, is look at yourself first before you go anywhere, before you get any management skill training or coaching skills training or anything like that, or decide what kind of culture you have. Is no. Take a step back and first do an absolutely in-depth self-analysis on yourself. Okay. Rule number two is quite interesting. Rule number two is, what is your corporate culture in your organization? And again, whether you're a big spa, 2 staff members, or yourself, what is your corporate culture? And an easy way to explain to you what corporate culture is the sentence at the bottom here that says, the way we do things around here. So it's, what kind of culture have you set for your business? How do you do things around here? Okay, so let me take you through a few of them. And this is very, very interesting because I'm not sure if you've ever sat down and analyzed or even looked at this at all. So there's lots and lots of cultures, but there are 4 main cultures that I would say permeate through our specific industry. Okay. Number 1 is the power culture, where all thinking, all doing, and all decisions come from the top. So I say they're the manager, but it means the manager, and if there's an owner, and then if there's a GM, and then if there's a director, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so all the decisions and the thinking and the doing come from there. The staff opinions are, you might ask them for their opinions, but they're not really taken into account. Okay, and most of the times in a power culture environment, the staff opinions are not really heard. So a staff meeting will be called, the staff will be told, this is what is happening, and this is how we're going to do it. That is called a power culture, right? Then we have a fear culture. Fear culture is where rules and procedures are obeyed without question, absolutely no questions asked, and where there is fear of consequences, of punishment. So in other words, oh my goodness me, I'm going to get a warning, okay? And I'm sure this might resonate with some of you. If I do this, I'm going to get a warning. If I do this, no, I'm not going to do that. If I don't sign in, if I don't do that, I'm not going to do that because then I'm going to get a warning. Okay, so that is a fear culture. Then we have people culture. People culture is where the individuals within the organization they basically run the organization. Okay? They organize their own workload. They make themselves fully accountable. Okay? So it's their own business within the business. So absolutely everything revolves, and everything in that business is done, shaped, decisions made by the individuals in the business. Then we have a team culture where the team is encouraged to work together towards delivery, and everyone understands their directions and goals. So they are given directions. They're not fully accountable. That's the difference, okay? So in the team, they're given their tasks and told, okay, this is how we all fit in together, and this is what you're all responsible for, and everybody comes together towards delivering a common goal. Okay, so which do you think is the right culture? And I'd like to open up the chat box. What do you think is the right culture to have in our beauty businesses? Okay, so we're getting a lot of team culture. Okay, and can any of you imagine, is there one right and a wrong? Okay, I'm going to get to it in a minute. Good question, Nicole. So can any of you think which culture, though, is prevalent in a lot of our businesses? So you're all saying team culture is the right culture, but which culture do you think is prevalent in most of our businesses? Well done, Feiruz, 100%. Power. Okay, the power culture is, and I say this unfortunately, most prevalent in most of our businesses, because I have got no idea why. Okay, and I'm hoping that this module that deals with leadership is going to help mold and change the way that you drive your organization. Because if you can change it, you can get very, very different results, because we are dealing with a different type of individual. 100% dependent on the characters and the staff, Nicole. Yes, correct. However, we have to set a culture in our businesses. So without going into too much detail, okay, because I'll tell you why later. This is basically, I'm giving you today is a little bit of meat, okay, and tools, but an introduction into our leadership module that we have, okay, because this is so vitally important for you to be able to drive the business in the right direction. But I think that our industry needs a learning culture. And what I mean by a learning culture is that we take the people culture, we merge it with the team culture, because by instilling a slight people culture, you're making people accountable for themselves. So it's giving them power, and that's what we want to do. But at the same time, that's why there's all the pluses, merging it together with an inspiring manager that helps to lead the direction in which the business should go. Okay, so basically what we're aiming to do here is change our businesses from a power culture, because that is exactly what 80% of our businesses culture revolves around. We might say that's not true. I definitely think I have a team culture. But when you sit down and you actually apply your mind to it, you probably think, oh gosh, actually no, because I don't really involve my staff in making decisions. I make them. I ask them their opinion, but the decisions are made by me ultimately. Okay, so this can be quite something scary to try and navigate into, but it's definitely something very necessary. Okay, This is also very interesting. Do you think you know what your employees want and what is important to them? So can I have a quick chat box answer? Do you think you know what your employees want and what is important to them? Just a simple yes or no, whether you think you know. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. All right. So that's amazingly interesting. So everybody so far has said that they think they know what their employees want. Okay. I am going to show you only 3 out of 10 results that were done through a survey. Okay. And this is in our industry. And I'm just showing you the top 3. There's 10 of them, okay, which we take you through all 10 of them in the module that we do, okay. But here is do the survey with your team, and then you compare the results. So what happens here is there are 10 things that are specified, and your staff have to put them in order of importance from 1 to 10. And without you looking, you have to put them in order of importance from 1 to 10. Now, I want you to look at the top 3, just the 3. And that's why I said this is a complete eye-opener. Because the employee's number 1 is to be appreciated. And the employer thought that it was to be paid well. Okay, so for those of you going into these meetings with your staff about remuneration and changing of remuneration structures, please remember this. They want to be appreciated first and foremost. Okay. 2 is they want to feel included and in the know. They want to feel like they know what's going on. They're on the inside, okay? Whereas the employer thinks that they want job security. Totally different here. Number 3, the employee thinks, or the employee values, empathy with personal problems. I mean, that totally blew me away. That the employee finds that empathizing with them about their personal problems and just listening to them, listening, hearing, acting, how can I help you, is more important to them than what the employer thinks is growth opportunities. I mean, that is unbelievable. Okay, so this has got me thinking like, good golly, Miss Molly, do we really know what our team wants? Okay, so this was quite interesting, and this is just 3 of the 10. All right, the next one, I'll address every comment in the chat box in a minute. Okay, so the next point I want to move on to is, are we teachers? Are we coaches? Okay, so we know we have to lead and we know we're managers. But are we teacher type of managers or are we coach type of managers? And I just wanted to give you the basic difference between the 2 because they are very, very different. A teacher teaches facts. So stands in front of a classroom, good example, and a teacher says, X, Y, Z, fact, finished. Learner absorbs it. I'm going to give you an example in a minute. And the learner decides, I'm either going to act on it or not. Quite simple. A coach, on the other hand, teaches you to think for yourself and make your own decisions. And it could be based on exactly the same thing that the teacher is trying to get across, the point that the teacher is trying to get across. So that is very, very interesting. And I'm going to show you an example now. Teaching will last a long time if the student chooses to act on and absorb the information and facts that are taught. Teaching a way of doing things can be very effective, thinking about the induction program when a new employee first starts with you, or when teaching a new massage movement, okay? There is a right way and a wrong way to do it. Think about it, because you teach them. And the teacher will demonstrate the right way to do the effleurage. This is the right way to do it. Or this is the right way to greet our guests when they walk in through the door, an SOP, for example. The student in a teacher relationship commits to replicating this behavior, to learn facts, to absorb information. This is a very necessary part of the learning process. Okay. Now, the coach, on the other hand, is a more conceptual kind of process. So not so much as dealing with the facts, but dealing with the way people think and then how they act. So an example is a student would be encouraged to provide the answers to the questions themselves. The coach does not instruct them. So I want to give you an example. In the SOP, same story. A teacher would say, when a guest walks through the door, you stand up, you smile, you say, hello, my name is Marisa, welcome to my spa, so lovely to see you. A coach will say, when a guest walks into our spa, how do you think we should greet them, and why do you think we should do it that way? So we are getting to ultimately the same goal, but in this process, we are doing it differently. The one is we are empowering the person to think for themselves, not just the answer, but why that answer, whereas the teacher will outright teach it. Okay, so I hope this is, I hope you get it and you understand the difference, okay? Sorry, and before I move on there, is in the module, in the leadership module, we go through how important it is as a leader that you have the ability to go from teacher to coach like this, okay? You have to be able to change and adapt very quickly from when you need to be a teacher. So when is what is the procedure where it's, sorry, not negotiable, this is how it will be done, okay? And when do you coach them so that they can think for themselves and understand, flip, okay, this is why I'm going to do this, because these are the results that I'm going to get from doing it in that way. So this is such an amazing, growing learning environment, because you've got to tap into both methods and both systems to be able to get the best out of not only your team, but out of yourself as an individual, out of your own personal growth path that you want to go on. Okay, and then the next one that we're going to chat today, very briefly in, is what happens in times of crisis, because right now, that is where we find ourselves in. Or you might find another environment one day, or something else happens within your own organization that perhaps is not affecting the whole world or the whole country, where you're in a crisis. And these really are the top 5 pointers that I have for you when it comes to crisis management. And the first and foremost point is make your team feel safe. They have to feel safe, that they are looked after, even if it's just an emotional looking after. Yes, my leader or my manager is there for me. I can speak to her at any point in time. Remember, a lot of this leads back to what they feel their top priorities are when it comes to what is important to them. Number 2 is have a plan. And tell them you have a plan. And if possible, make them a part of the plan. Because then they feel, like we've spoken before, that they're in on it. Okay, they want to be in the know. Number 3 is consult or meet with your team on a regular basis. This, at this point in time, is more crucial than anything you've ever done before, is communication, and try and get meetings with them. You implement social distancing measures, but to try and pull your team together. And we are going to go a lot more in depth next week in our employee wellness section, where you will discover and find out how vital it is that your employees are in a good headspace, because we're all desperate to open and get working, right? Or if you are working, you're all desperate to keep your revenues up and to keep the business going. But if your employees are not in the right state of mind, they are not going to be doing the treatments on your clients that are going to give the right effect, because the client picks up on how your staff and on how the environment, they pick up the vibe, okay? So your vibe and your staff's well-being and their mental state of mind is absolutely paramount at this point in time. And consultations and meetings are the way to keep them going. And then number 4 is be the teacher. Be the teacher, especially now. We have SOPs that need to be taught, not coached. SOPs when it comes to sanitation and SOPs when it comes to COVID prevention at this point in time are to be taught and implemented. They have to understand it and know 1, 2, 3, this is what we're going to do. Now, step number 5 is where you turn into the coach. Very importantly, during crisis management, because you now need to coach them on how to align their why. I say your why here, and I mean your staff's why and yours as an individual and as a manager. So your why do you want the business to survive? Why do you need this job? Why do you have to work? Who are you doing this for? What is your why? You have to have that discussion. You have to coach that into them and align the why with the revenue forecasts. So they need X amount of money to survive, right? They need to align their why with the amount of money that they need to survive. And that is absolutely vitally important. Okay, and that is when you become the coach. So these are the top 5 crisis management tools that I can give you. And make sure, please, that you go through these. And if you don't have a plan, best you come up with one. If you're not consulting and meeting with your team regularly, set a meeting date. And I'm so happy to see that so many of you are doing this. Okay, teaching the SOPs. And what's going to come, and it's going to come stronger in next week's session, is the coaching, is aligning their earning potential, their forecasting into why they are doing this and why do they need this job and why do they need to be doing what they are doing. Okay. So I have another little video clip.
Marissa, just before we go in there, could I interrupt for a moment?
Yes, of course you may. Who am I chatting to?
It's Carl.
Hi.
EFB. Hi. So just, guys, a little bit of perhaps positive news, just monitoring the minister's speech, and we've got a possibility of going ahead. So I don't want to get your hopes up too high. We're waiting for some conditions.
Okay.
But it's looking, it basically reads that you can open under specific conditions as specified by a cabinet minister. So we need to find out what those are, but we don't know exactly yet. So don't assume it's yes, but in the collective corporation, we're just monitoring and Jassie's having input there. So
oh my God.
Yeah, just keep a heads up. All right, so we'll see if it comes through.
Yes, that's exciting. Please keep us posted. Thank you so much for that. Eh?
I'm going to be kicking out just to go and focus on this. So I'll just post into that group, Marissa, okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Carl,
Yes, keep up the great work. Yes.
There's a question there saying, is this only for hairdressing? Or
No. It's for including hairdressing, beauty treatments, makeup, nail salons, piercing, and tattoo parlors. But please, everybody, until we actually have this confirmed, it is no, until we actually have yes, okay?
Got it, got it. Thanks, Carl. Thanks for that.
Okay, cheers.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, thanks. Okay, well, let's see, hey, what comes of that? That will be quite interesting. Oh, and exciting, okay? So, all right, so I'd like to show you this last video clip that has to do with specifically what we're chatting about today, and that is leadership. And then we'll open up to some questions. So have a look, everybody. Enjoy it.
We all want to be successful in life, but you must ask yourself, are you a follower or are you a leader? What I mean by this is followers are the ones that wait for direction and are told where to go in life. Leaders, on the other hand, are in front of the line, not focused on what's being said, but focused on what's getting done. You have to be able to create a plan, find your purpose, and in the process, keep pursuing your goals, day in and day out, until you know you can't be stopped. Never be satisfied with satisfaction or blended in with society, but having the desire to leave a lasting impression to be remembered and admired. This will make you one of a kind. When someone says it can't be done, and the first thing that comes to your mind is how it can, you will find others using fear as a reason why they can't reach their full potential, simply because they are afraid of failing, not understanding this is a process of being successful, to be able to overcome your downfalls, which in return will elevate you past limitations you never thought you could surpass. That's determination. That's motivation. That's the victory inside yourself, proving them wrong, never using fear as an excuse, just as their opinion. A leader is able to stare fear in the face and say, you are yesterday's problem. So, if you want more out of life, go out and get it. Start constantly thinking of new avenues and different ways to reach what many will say is impossible, because you are possible. A leader will find that inner strength that will push them on their good days and push them even harder on their bad ones. Who do you think will be there to tell you keep pushing? You're almost there, don't give up. When it's your vision of success, remember, no one has the same drive you have inside. You will have people in your life saying you are wasting your time. Don't complain about it. Be about it. You are not just an average person who will give in to life's hardships, settling for less, when you have the perseverance to accomplish so much more. You are in control of your life, so there is no need to break. Once you can figure out this formula, the path will become easier, but the key word is easier. Because if anything is easy in your life, it simply means you're not trying hard enough. When you think you're working hard, work harder. Keep moving forward and become stronger in the process and become a leader, but a leader that doesn't create more followers, but more leaders.
How amazing is that? Okay. So I will share all the video clips with all of you. They are very powerful, and it is really important that you share this with your team as well, and with your managers if you are the owner of the business. Okay. So Lizelle is asking, how do you hold staff accountable for their actions without creating a fear culture? So Lizelle, that again is all part of going through this leadership module. And this is really what the Spa Professionals Guild is geared at doing, okay? What we are geared at doing is developing tools to assist you to get the right processes, systems in place in your business for optimum results. However, all of that is easy. What is not easy is looking at the manager and what is their management style and how do they drive their team and how do they, all of those kind of things that I've just been through with you today, is how do I get the right culture? How do I know what's important for my team? So module 1 is basically ready, okay? We're only flighting it. So next week, we're going to focus very strongly on the employee wellness, and that is absolutely vital. We have a psychologist coming on board to that meeting, and we are in the process of developing an employee wellness guide or a handbook with things on there that are mind-blowing. They're amazing. For example, psychometric testing. How do you find out what is your staff's frame of mind? How do you tap into what they really are feeling? Okay, because it's quite difficult. You can't sit there, especially if now we're going to go back. Let's say now we get a green light for next week. Is, oh my gosh, we ought to do training. Oh my word, we have to do all of this. But actually what's important is what frame of mind our staff and us as managers and owners are. And how do we once we've figured out what state of mind they're in, is how do we help them? Because remember, there's no point in them doing treatments on your clients if they're suffering from trauma or if they are in a depression. There's no point. Your client at this point in time, when they come back to you, they're craving touch, they need energy, they need focus, they need to feel upliftment, enlightenment, all of that. They need to feel it coming through the hands and the bones and the vibe of the individual and the auras of the individuals that they're dealing with. Okay, so that will be next week. And then from thereafter, we are going to start with module 1. Basically, module 1 is an in-depth self-assessment. Okay, there must be maybe 40 odd questions that are quite, they're not easy to answer. So a lot of us think, oh, self-assessment question is easy. They're not, okay? A management style analysis, a job description canvas, okay, because that is an assignment for you to do. Required attributes for successful leadership. Corporate cultures, so a little bit, I mean, I touched on it a little bit today, but it's how to develop the correct and implement the correct corporate culture into your business. Very important thing is strategic and operational thinking, because they are so different, okay? And it's how do you marry the two? Because as a leader, you have to be able to deliver on both of those. Managing change, very important, because we are going through changes now, but you might find lots of changes going forward. Is how do you manage your team and yourself through all these changes? And then 8 critical attributes to a guaranteed successful management career or leadership career. Okay, so the module will take you a month to complete, and it is a worksheet-based module. So you will work at your own pace, but we do try and push you to complete it within 1 month. In that same period, you get 2 group coaching sessions, okay? Pretty much like the ones that we have been doing now. So you wouldn't pay extra for these sessions like the one that you did today. It would be included in your package of module 1. And then you have specific tasks and assignments to complete, and you would be getting feedback and direction on those specific assignments. Okay, so these are priced at $99 US each module that we do, okay? And for the South African market, because of various reasons, I mean, our exchange rate being the main one, is we're positioning it at a $49 US package. Okay, so you will buy the package of module 1, you will download the worksheet, you will complete the work. It's all there in your module where you understand exactly what is going on. Okay, so I don't know if anybody has any questions to ask at this point in time. What do you think about this? Are you all excited about it? Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I thought this was 1 million years ago. I certainly don't remember any of it. Wow, brilliant. Lots to think about. I mean, yeah, Lucia, I know you're in. Lucia has been asking me to do this online, I think for 10 years. I'm not joking. We're finally there, Lucia. So there's lots of modules, lots coming up. You're going to love it. And we are going to grow you all in ways that you had no idea that you could grow. But we are doing this slightly differently, okay? Because I don't want to start giving you systems to implement into your business when the foundation is what needs to be strongest. So we are building a house together, okay? We are building a mansion, right? But in order for that mansion to grow and for us to put more floors on it and for it to be a skyscraper, what has to be the strongest part of that building? It's the foundations. And basically, what I want to do with you is make your foundation the strongest part. And who is the foundation of this? It is you. It is each and every single one of you. You are the foundations of your business. So that's why we have to start there. We have to start with you. Forget about the systems for now. We're going to get there. We need to make sure that your mindset is right, that you have your canvas. You know, this is my job description. Yes. This is my management style. Yes. This is the corporate culture that I want to instill in my business. Great. And do that self-assessment questionnaire, because it's going to make you think a lot about, good golly, Miss Molly, I didn't realize that this is who I am and this is what I'm about. Okay. So thank you everybody again for your time and your ears. I hope that you absolutely loved this session, okay, as much as I loved preparing it. I'm going, just so that you all know, is I'm going to move next week Tuesday's session to Thursday. This guide that we are putting together for employee wellness is becoming bigger and bigger as we start discovering new things, okay? The psychologist that I have coming on board is also giving me new tools that are going, oh my gosh, okay, we need to add that in, and oh my word, we need to add that in, okay? So it is vital that, and I know everybody's all wellnessed out, okay? I'm really not, because it's only the first time I've been delving into this, but I didn't really realize how important making sure that all of our mindsets and that we are well as individuals when we start to take on a nation that has been traumatized through this lockdown and that is going to continue, because this is not over, okay? And it's, how do we keep ourselves well? How do we maintain good mindsets? So I'm going to be moving that session to next week Thursday, okay? But it will all be communicated out to you, and then we will load this module on for purchase by the end of the week, okay? And then, and I'll send out a reminder to all of you. Okay, so thank you everybody so much. And thank you for your commitment to supporting this, this program and this network and this platform, that I really see it as something that is going to absolutely help grow everybody in our industry and not only in this country, okay? So thanks. Marilee is saying, thank you, Marisa. You sparked a memory of what a friend told me once. Get out of your own way. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, superb. So thank you, everybody. I really hope that you got the best value out of today, because that is my intention, is to give you tools to implement. I want your brains to be on overdrive when we finish. So I hope that all of your brains are going mad at the moment. And I will see you all next week. Okay. Carl, I see that you're still on. Do you have any news for us or not yet? Can you unmute and let us know? No. Okay. Not a problem. Okay, ladies, super duper. If anybody wants to